Good evening, everyone. Hello. I am your educator Anjali Sharma, and I welcome you all to Arpita Sharma classes. In this series, we'll analyze previous year economics questions via quiz. Before starting the quiz, a small announcement. You can subscribe to Arpita Sharma classes for daily Hindu analysis, daily economics MCQ series, strategy classes related to UPSC, CSC, Indian polity classes, and much more. You can also join our Telegram channel Simplifying UPSC with Ease for class updates and notes. Also, Arpita ma'am is taking live classes on Unacademy Plus. You can use code SharmaYT10 to get flat 10% discount. So now, let's start with the quiz. So the question one goes as, what is or are the most likely advantages of implementing goods and services tax? So जीएसटी इम्प्लीमेंट करने के एडवांटेजेस इसमें पूछे गए हैं जो कि करेक्ट हों इन स्टेटमेंट्स में से. It will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and thus will create a single market in India. It will drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserves. It will enormously increase the growth and size of economy of India and will enable it to take over China in the near future. So, out of all these three statements, which of the statement are correct or which of the option is correct? One only, two only, one only, two and three only, one and three only, one, two and three. So, not a very tough question guys to start with. हमें पक्का कंफर्म वाला बताइए जो कौन सा करेक्ट है और उसके अलावा वाले जो आंसर्स है उन्हें एलिमिनेट करिए. आप अपने सही आंसर तक पहुंच जाएंगे. सो यू कैन एलिमिनेट द wrong answers, wrong statements, and that way you'll be left with the correct one. So, not a very tough one, won't give you much time for this one. So, the correct answer is option A, which is one only. So yes, it will replace the multiple taxes collected by the multiple authorities and thus will create a single market in India. और बाकी करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट का जो ड्रास्टिकली रिड्यूस करने की बात कर रहे हैं दैट इज नॉट द केस और इनॉर्मसली ऐसा कोई इंक्रीज भी नहीं कर रहा है इकोनॉमी का साइज और इतना तो क्या ही इंक्रीज कर रहा है कि वो चाइना को टेक ओवर कर देगा. सो या now the two advantages that are talked about in the question are abolition of multiple layers of taxation. One of the advantages of GST is that it integrated different tax lines such as central excise, service tax, sales tax, luxury tax, a special additional duty of customs, etc., into one consolidated tax. It prevents multiple tax layers imposed on goods and services. So that is true. Now, creation of a common national market, GST gave a boost to India's tax to GDP ratio that aids in promoting economic efficiency and sustainable long-term growth. It led to a uniform tax law among different sectors concerning indirect taxes. It facilitates in eliminating economic distortion and forms a common national market. So by both the advantages, our statement one is correct and that is our correct option. So yes, moving on to our next question. Consider the following statements. NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India, helps in promoting the financial inclusion in the country and or NPCI has launched RuPay, a card payment scheme. So out of these two statements, which of the above are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. Comment down your answers guys. What is the answer for this one? चलिए जल्दी जल्दी बताइए क्या आंसर होगा इसका. So the correct answer is C, that is both 1 and 2, both the statements are correct. NPCI is a not-for-profit company formed by various banks with providing objective of with the primary objective of providing cost-effective payment solutions to the banks so that they don't have to rely on expensive contracts of Visa, Mastercard, Infosys, etc. तो NPCI एक नॉन प्रॉफिट कंपनी है जो कि वेरियस बैंक्स ने मिलकर बनाई है. उनका प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है कि वो इफेक्टिव पेमेंट सॉल्यूशंस, कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव पेमेंट सॉल्यूशंस बना सके, ठीक है. Now, but NPCI solutions such as IMPS, BHIM, RuPay, AEPS, etc. have indeed helped in financial inclusion. So the first is correct. And the second is correct as NPCI launched RuPay card in 2012 as the seventh payment gateway in the world. जो कि इंडिया में आप कहीं पे भी यूज कर सकते हैं freely. And so yeah, thus we reach to our correct answer, which is C. Moving on to our next question. With the reference to the Prohibition of Benami Property Transactions Act 1988, PBPT Act, consider the following statements. A property transaction is not treated as Benami transaction if the owner of the property is not aware of the transaction. Properties held Benami are liable for confiscation by the government. The Act provides for three authorities for investigations but does not provide any appellate mechanism. So what would be the correct answer? Which of the following, which of the above statements are correct? 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 2 and 3 only. So yes. Comment down your answers. When you will be reading these options, you will feel कि हाँ अगर owner को नहीं पता है तो उसको हो सकता है कि उसे ना ट्रीट किया जाए बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शन के अंडर, और मे बी कि ना कॉन्फिस्टिकेट करें और समथिंग लाइक दैट. आई एम गिविंग यू पॉसिबल हिंट्स. So yes, the correct answer is option B, which is 2 only, because the first statement that whether it is correct or whether the person is aware or the owner is aware or not aware does not qualify for being not treated as Benami transaction. And जो तीसरा statement है कि this act provides for 3 authorities for investigations, no, it provides for 4 authorities. The initiation of proceeding against the alleged Benami property beneficiaries. The act establishes 4 authorities who will be able to conduct inquiries regarding Benami transaction: initiating officer, approving authority, administrator, and adjudicating authority. So yeah, these 4 are the authorities and these 4 are their functions. So 3 तो गलत हो गया. अब first कैसे गलत है इसे आगे जान लेते हैं. So the word Benami means anonymous or nameless, and the term Benami transaction is used to describe a transaction where one person pays for the property but the property is transferred to or held by somebody else. The person who pays for the property is real beneficiary either at present or at some point in the future, but it is not recorded as a legal owner of the property. This enables the taxpayer to achieve undesirable purposes such as utilizing black money, evading the tax payment, and avoiding making payments to the creditors. तो यहाँ पे क्या बात करी जा रही है कि बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शंस ऐसे ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं जहाँ पे जो मेन ओनर है उसके नाम पे प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांसफर नहीं की जाती है. उसका जो प्रॉपर्टी का जो भी प्रॉपर्टी के पेपर्स बनते हैं वो किसी और के नाम पे बनते हैं. जैसे अगर मेरी प्रॉपर्टी है तो वो प्रॉपर्टी अगर मैंने नई खरीदी तो वो मैं किसी और के नेम पे खरीदूं जो कि मेरा जान पहचान वाला हो, मुझे बाद में ट्रांसफर कर दे, मुझे बाद में अल्टीमेटली फ्यूचर में मुझे उसका बेनिफिशियरी बनना पड़े, मुझे सारे प्रॉफिट्स मिलेंगे उसके, लेकिन वो मैं टैक्सेस से बच पाऊं और ब्लैक मनी इकट्ठा कर पाऊं इसके लिए. So मेरा ऐसा कोई इरादा नहीं है guys. So I was just giving you an example. The term Benami transaction covers a transaction or an arrangement where a property is transferred to or is held by a person for a consideration provided or paid by another person. कि मेरे behalf पे किसी और ने payment करी है, but now it is like not on my behalf is not the correct word, but हाँ मतलब fraud करने के purpose से कि किसी और ने payment कर दी है और वो property ultimately वही ले लेंगे but अभी मेरे नाम पे है. Now, the property is held for the immediate or future benefit, direct or indirect, of the person providing the consideration. तो जो person अमाउंट प्रोवाइड कर रहा है उसकी बेनिफिट के लिए है, चाहे वो इमीडिएट बेनिफिट उसे हो, चाहे फ्यूचर में बेनिफिट हो, चाहे डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट हो, चाहे इनडायरेक्ट बेनिफिट हो. द अमेंडमेंट, अब उसकी एक अमेंडमेंट आई थी 2016 में. द अमेंडमेंट इंक्रीजेस द स्कोप ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस व्हिच क्वालिफाई एज बेनामी एंड इंक्लूड्स प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांजैक्शन वेयर transaction is made in a fictitious name, owner is not aware or of or denies knowledge of ownership of the property. मेरे नाम पे प्रॉपर्टी और कल को मैं कह दूं नहीं मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है मेरे नाम पे प्रॉपर्टी है, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. सो दैट वाज इन आवर स्टेटमेंट कि अगर आपके ऐसा भी सिचुएशन तो भी इट विल बी कंसिडर्ड अ बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शन. पर्सन्स प्रोवाइडिंग द कंसिडरेशन फॉर द प्रॉपर्टी एंड इज नॉट ट्रेसेबल और इज फिक्टिशियस. सो यस, और इसके बारे में ना और भी ट्रांजैक्शंस थी कि कौन कौन सी जो चीजें हैं वो बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शंस में नहीं आती, वो आप इस वाली लिंक पे पढ़ सकते हैं, जो कि आप कैसे गो थ्रू करेंगे पीडीएफ में जाकर के, जो आपको इस चैनल पे मिल जाएगा, सिंप्लीफाइंग यूपीएससी विद ईज. सो यस, नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Consider the following statements. India has ratified the Trade Facilitation Agreement TFA of WTO. TFA is a part of WTO's Bali Ministerial Package of 2013. TFA came into force in January 2016. Which of the statements given above are correct? तो तीन स्टेटमेंट्स गिवन है हमारे पास. वी आर गिवन विद थ्री स्टेटमेंट्स. द फर्स्ट वन इज दैट did India, मतलब I am just asking you, it is saying that India has ratified. Ratified का क्या मतलब होता है कि अपनी confirmation दे देना, formal approval दे देना. So if that is the word जिसकी वजह से ये question थोड़ा आसान हो जाए तो देख लीजिए. Comment down your answers below. So the correct answer would be, so the correct answer is, ओके अब नहीं बताऊंगी, अब बता देती हूँ फटाफट. द करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए विच इज 1 and 2 ओनली. यस, इंडिया हैज रैटिफाइड द ट्रेड फैसिलिटेशन अग्रीमेंट ऑफ डब्ल्यूटीओ, और वो 73rd कंट्री थी अप्रूवल देने वाली. नाउ TFA इज अ पार्ट ऑफ WTO's Bali Ministerial Package of 2013. yes, that is true as well. और आप इस क्वेश्चन को एलिमिनेशन मेथड से भी कर सकते थे, क्योंकि TFA जो था वो जनवरी 2016 में नहीं बल्कि फरवरी 2017 में एनफोर्स किया गया था. सो विथ एलिमिनेटिंग दिस, ओनली दिस option, we would have reached our correct answer, which is option A, 1 and 2 only. So India has ratified the new trade facilitation agreement. WTO's ambassador Anjali Prasad handed over her country's instrument of acceptance to Director General on 22nd April 2016. So yes, this was picked from the WTO website. You can read more on the links given below. So yeah, moving on to our next question. Consider the following in respect of National Career Service. National Career Service is an initiative of the Department of Personnel and Training, Government of India. National Career Service has been launched in a mission mode to improve the employment opportunities to uneducated youth of the country. So, read the statements carefully again and again to reach the correct answer. This is the clue for this question. So National Career Scheme is an initiative of the Department of Personnel and Training, Government of India. पहला स्टेटमेंट कि ये जो इनिशिएटिव है ये डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पर्सोनल एंड ट्रेनिंग का है, और दूसरा जो है इट हैज बीन लॉन्च्ड इन अ मिशन मोड to improve the employment opportunities to uneducated youth of the country. I guess I have given you enough clues for this one with the fact कि आपको ये statements पढ़ने हैं ध्यान से, statements में ही answer है. So, which of the above statements are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Comment down your answers, guys. So the correct answer is option D, which is neither 1 nor 2. So सबसे पहली बात जो NCS है, it is an initiative by the Ministry of Labour and Employment and not the Department of Personnel and Training. तो ये गलत हो गया. Second statement is correct, half, like आधा. Then it is a mission mode project. यहाँ तक सही थी बात. But in statement 2 जो ज़्यादा बच्चे थे ना, उन्होंने इस बात पे ध्यान नहीं दिया कि यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि opportunities to uneducated youth of the country. No, that is not the case. जब आप इसकी वेबसाइट पे जाते हैं NCS की, तो वहाँ पे लिखा होता है कि आपकी जो क्वालिफिकेशन होनी चाहिए, एलिजिबिलिटी होनी चाहिए टू अप्लाई फॉर एनी वैकेंसी और एनीथिंग, दैट शुड बी 12th प्लस एनी डिप्लोमा, और 12th तो होनी ही चाहिए एटलीस्ट. सो but this portal does not help uneducated youth, and it helps only degree holders or diploma holders. So option D, neither 1 nor 2. तो आपने questions ध्यान से पढ़े हैं and आपके answers correct होंगे. Yes, time for the next question. With reference to the role of UN Habitat in the United Nations program working towards a better urban future. Which of the statements is or are correct? UN Habitat has been mandated by the UN General Assembly to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities to provide adequate shelter for all. Its partners are either governments or local urban authorities only. UN Habitat contributes to the overall objective of the United Nations systems to reduce poverty and to promote access to safe drinking water and basic sanitization. What would be the correct answer? इन तीनों स्टेटमेंट्स में से कौन से स्टेटमेंट्स करेक्ट है? 1 2 3 2 1 3 2 and 3 or 1 only? What would be the correct answer, guys? Comment down your answers. Correct answer is option B, which is 1 and 3 only. So the statement 2 is wrong, which states that it either partners with governments or local urban authorities only. No, that is not true. UN Habitat also partners with private organizations and civil societies also. So yes, the statement 2 is incorrect and statement 1 and 3 are correct. उनके about us वाले पेज पे दिया हुआ है कि जो UN Habitat है that has been mandated by the UN General Assembly to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities ताकि वो adequate shelter सबके लिए दे सके and UN Habitat contributes to the overall objective of UN systems to reduce poverty and promote access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. So ये दोनों statements correct हैं. So now moving on to the next question. With reference to National Skills Qualification Framework NSQF, which of the statements given below are correct? Under NSQF, a learner can acquire the certification for competency only through a formal learning. An outcome expected from implementation of NSQF is the mobility between vocational and general education. तो आपको दो statements दिए गए हैं NSQF के बारे में. So इन दोनों में से कौन सा correct है? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. What would be the correct answer, guys? एक लर्नर जो है उसे सर्टिफिकेशन अक्वायर जो करनी है दैट कैन बी ओनली थ्रू फॉर्मल लर्निंग और an outcome expected from implementation of NSQF is mobility between vocational and general education कि जो NSQF से expected outcome है वो होगा mobility between vocational और general education. What would be the correct answer? Comment down your answers below. So the correct answer would be option B, which is 2 only. So statement 1 states that ki NSQF levels graded from 1 to 10 are defined in terms of learning outcomes which the learner must possess regardless of whether they are obtained through formal or non-formal or informal learning. तो कहीं से भी आपने लर्निंग करी हो 1 to 10 तक आपके ग्रेड्स हैं जो कि लर्निंग आउटकम्स हैं वो लर्नर के पास होनी चाहिए वो चाहे उन्होंने फॉर्मल तरीके से ली हो चाहे नॉन फॉर्मल या इनफॉर्मल तरीके से ली हो. नाउ सो ये स्टेटमेंट फर्स्ट हो गया वो हमारा इनकरेक्ट हो गया. नाउ स्टेटमेंट 2 स्पेसिफिक आउटकम्स एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ NSQF आर मोबिलिटी बिटवीन वोकेशनल एंड जनरल एजुकेशन बाय अलाइनमेंट ऑफ डिग्रीज विद NSQF, रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ प्रायर लर्निंग, allowing transition from non-formal to organized job market, standardized, consistent, nationally acceptable outcomes of training across the country through a national quality assurance framework. So जो स्किल डेवलपमेंट की वेबसाइट है उस पर ये गिवन थी सारी जिसमें कि मोबिलिटी बिटवीन वोकेशनल एंड जनरल एजुकेशन जो है by the alignment of degrees with NSQF, तो ये वाला स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है क्योंकि ये इसका एक एक्सपेक्टेड आउटकम है. So next, let's move to the next question. Consider the following statement. Climate and Clean Air Coalition to reduce short-lived climate pollutants is a unique initiative of G20 group of countries. The CCAC focuses on methane, black carbon and hydrofluorocarbons. So, what would be the correct statement above? जो दो statements हैं उनमें से कौन से correct statements हैं? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So CCAC is to reduce short-lived climate pollutants is a unique initiative by G20 group of countries. तो इसमें दो बातें कही गई हैं. एक तो ये short-lived climate pollutants को reduce करता है. दूसरा ये G20 group of countries ने दिया था, group of pollutants ने दिया था. So no. So G20 ग्रुप ऑफ कंट्रीज ने दिया था या नहीं, या रिड्यूस करता है कि नहीं शॉर्ट लिव क्लाइमेट पॉल्यूटेंट्स. And the other statement is that it focuses on methane, black carbon, and hydrofluorocarbons. So what would be the correct answer? So the correct answer would be option B, which is 2 only, that the statement 2 is correct. So first of all, it was not given by G20 group of countries. The Climate and Clean Air Coalition to reduce short-lived climate pollutants was launched by the United Nations Environment Programme UNEP and 6 countries: Bangladesh, Canada, Ghana, Mexico, Sweden, and the United States in 2012. And the statement 2, the coalition initial focus is on methane, black carbon, and HFCs, hence the statement is correct. So yes, now let's move on to the next question. Which of the following has or have occurred in India after its liberalization of economic policies in 1991? So 2 to 3 years बैक 1991 की जो पॉलिसी थी ना, इसके 25 इयर्स हो गए थे पूरे. तो उसी उपलक्ष्य में आपको ये क्वेश्चंस यूपीएससी के पेपर में देखने को मिला था, जबकि उन्होंने पूछा था कि इसके बाद क्या क्या हुआ है. शेयर ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर जो है वो एग्रीकल्चर का शेयर जीडीपी में इंक्रीज हुआ है इनॉर्मसली. शेयर ऑफ इंडियाज एक्सपोर्ट्स इन वर्ल्ड ट्रेड हैज इंक्रीज्ड. एफडीआई इनफ्लोज इंक्रीज्ड. इंडियाज फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स इंक्रीज्ड इनॉर्मसली. व्हाट वुड बी द करेक्ट आंसर? कि एग्रीकल्चर का जो शेयर है जीडीपी में वो इंक्रीज हुआ है बहुत ही ज़्यादा. दूसरा कि जो इंडिया का शेयर है एक्सपोर्ट में, वर्ल्ड ट्रेड में, वो बहुत इंक्रीज हुआ है. एफटीआई जो होते हैं उनका इनफ्लो इंक्रीज हुआ है. और फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व जो है वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट में बढ़ गई हैं. So the correct answer is option C, which is 2, 3 and 4 only. First is not right. See, the statement 1, it has reduced post 1991. The post reform period shows a gradual decline in the agriculture sector's contribution to the Indian economy. India's traditional occupation agriculture now contributes only about 15% to the GDP, down from 29% in 1991. तो 1991 में एग्रीकल्चर का शेयर 29% था, जो कि अब 15% ही रह गया है. So no, not increase obviously. Statement 2, 3 and 4, these happened on account of liberalization of the current as well as capital account. From the time when India could have defaulted BOP in 1991, we have reached a situation today where forex reserves are over $350 billion. So yes, now let's move to our last question. Consider the following statements. Tax revenues as a percentage of GDP has steadily increased in the last decade. Fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP of India has steadily increased in the last decade. तो दोनों चीज़ों के steadily increase होने की बात की जा रही है. किन किन चीज़ों की? Tax revenue as a percentage of GDP, which is called tax buoyancy. So now next statement में है fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP, that also has increased steadily. So the correct answer is option D, which is neither 1 nor 2. Both the statements are incorrect. So it is about India's tax buoyancy, which is the responsiveness of tax revenue mobilization to GDP growth. Tax buoyancy is an important indicator of the efficiency and responsiveness of tax revenue mobilization to GDP growth. As I said, it is calculated as a ratio of percentage growth in tax revenues to growth in nominal GDP for a given year. Tax is said to be buoyant if the gross tax revenue increases more than the proportionately increase or response to a rise in GDP figures. So tax is said to be buoyant अगर जो है आपका gross tax revenue that increases more in proportion to the increase in the GDP figures. So in 2013-14, the final year of the UPA regime, tax buoyancy hit a 4-year low. 4-year low is at 0.71. सो यहाँ पे बात हो गई 4 साल की, यहाँ पे बात हो रही है डेकेड की. तो स्टेडीली तो इंक्रीज नहीं हो रहा है. सिंस देन इट हैज इम्प्रूव टू 1.23 इन 2014-15, 3.5 in 2015-16. So for 10 year तो steadily जो यहाँ पे word है steady का increase हुई है, that is true, but steadily increase नहीं हुई है. Steadily कोई चीज increase होने का मतलब है कि उनका ग्राफ सीधा सीधा ऊपर जा रहा है, कहीं पे नीचे नहीं जा रहा है, but ऐसा नहीं है इस केस में. Now statement 2, fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP has increased rapidly in recession years post 2008 due to fiscal deficit, fiscal stimulus given by the government, and then declined due to the fiscal consolidation measures adopted. So the statement second is wrong. So ये भी steadily increase नहीं हुआ है. So now we shall end this class on a very positive note, that is, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan but never the goal. Yes, one must know कि उन्होंने जो अपने लाइफ के लिए प्लान किया है, मे बी आपका हो सकता है अभी ना हो पा रहा हो, कुछ और तरीके से पढ़ने की कोशिश करिए, कुछ और तरीके से करने की कोशिश करिए, रास्ते बदल के देखिए, मंजिलें बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. टिल देन, हैप्पी लर्निंग.